Producing over 500 hours per week of talk radio, GCN Live is a world leader in talk radio. Archives for the following program can be found at gcnlive.com.
Welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report, and it's dynamic. We were going to give you solutions to all your health issues. We're always updating the protocols, and one of the things that I think I want to start off with is the issue of oxygen. Let's start off with oxygen. Oxygen triggers off your body to create energy, and then there's in your cells you create ATP and NADH. These are the two energy molecules. The sprocket that connects those is CoQ10, because CoQ10 and the CoQ10 ubiquinol, and by the way, we have the two best on the planet. There is no comparison. And I dare any company to suggest that they have anything even remotely as powerful as our CoQ10. We also have, of course, the triad of Nutri-Trala, Supernox, and Anti-Age Max, which raises the metabolic activity of your mitochondria and actually generates new mitochondria. We have Nutriodine, the Tesla-activated diatomic iodine. We have mitothyroid to raise your mitochondrial function of T3 and reduce your reverse T3. We have berberstatin that actually helps release proteolin, which is the peptide in your gut, in your delta cells, your pancreas, and your jejunum, your upper small bowel. So we have all the different things to raise energy levels. We have D-ribose and acetyl-L-carnitine. We have carnitine, mitochondrial catalyst, and uridine, your triacetyl-uridine. So you have all these amazing nutraceuticals for energy. So we don't have to have fibromyalgia. In fact, I've made an important breakthrough that in virtually all fibromyalgics, the sprocket's off the bicycle. So what we want to do is we want to really amp up the CoQ10 ubiquinol, and that means 3 to 4 soft gels twice a day. And then we want to be biting into a CoQ10 every 2 to 4 hours. And you'll see literally these fibromyalgic patients within the first day or two, their muscle pain will just start disappearing, especially as they add high-dose magnesium, or magnesium glycinate malate, magnesium potassium citrate, and of course we have magnesium taurate as well. So let's talk about these different products, because basically fibromyalgia, chronic pain syndromes the same way, chronic heart failure, hypertension basically is a CoQ10 problem. We're trying to raise the nitric oxide production levels, so we have Supernox and our Cardivite. These are really important. So let's talk about energetics. Let's take chronic fibromyalgia, somebody's got chronic muscle pain. It's amazing how fast CoQ10 can reverse it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And what is the dose you recommend typically?
I'm actually recommending we do blood levels. You can actually do it through the lab testing direct. You can actually measure CoQ10 levels in the blood. And what we find is that you need a combination of both the ubiquinol and the CoQ10 ubiquinone. The ubiquinol is absorbed in the bowel, so you can take the soft gels, and I recommend that you absorb somewhere around, I would say for an average person, the average size person, for a female, 2 to 3 soft gels of the ubiquinol twice a day. If you got fibromyalgia, chronic heart failure, hypertension, any vascular disease, any chronic fatigue syndrome. And then you take the CoQ10 Supreme, which is short-acting, and you hold it under your tongue so you get maximum absorption. You bite it, hold it under the tongue every 2 to 4 hours. And it makes an amazing difference. In fact, we have people that their fibromyalgia, and we've added this protocol to it, combined with our energetics, which is a triad of Supernox, Anti-Age Max, and Nutri-Trala. When we add our things like our new IBS care, which is our new propionyl carnitine, the mitocarnitine, mitochondrial catalyst, we're able to get people out of it very quickly. But the CoQ10 is amazing. And ours is 8 times more absorbed than any other oil base, because it's an oil-based substance. It's not going to be absorbed well in water. It also is far better absorbed to go directly to the heart if you take it directly under the tongue after you bite it. Some people notice they'll get a zing almost immediately. They'll say, wow, and they'll feel their muscles stronger. We have athletes that use this for athletics. We have people that use it for, say, long-distance running, for powerlifting, for all kinds of different sports. So tell us about our CoQ10 ubiquinol, because These are stars, and there's no company that's even remotely as good as this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, these are all oil-based, like you were saying before, and that's really key because what typically people find in the retail stores or supermarkets, CoQ10-wise, if they'd open it up, they'd actually feel the powder, the crystallization of the powder. They could rub it between their fingers, almost like they would with sugar or salt, and feel the crystallization. And, well, that's not good. Your body has difficulty absorbing crystals. Really, regular CoQ10 that's typically found in stores is only about 1% absorbed. So the body really has a tough time getting any kind of CoQ10 into the system. That's why when they look at a lot of the studies that are done on CoQ10, they're using up to 1 gram a day of the crystal form to get any kind of physiologic result. And so you only have to take one of your CoQ10 to get the same type of blood level that you'd have to take 10 or more of the other CoQ10 in.
Exactly, yeah. It makes a very big difference. I do recommend that people take a higher dose. You see the clinical improvement, back off the dosage, then may perhaps do blood levels through labtestingdirect.com. I think a whole range of health conditions are directly CoQ10 deficiency syndromes. So many that we probably can't even count. Psychological, muscular, heart, so many conditions are basically CoQ10 or energetic problems. And if we want to look at the reasons why, well, we know that bisphenol A interferes with CoQ10 production. We know the statin drugs interfere with it. We know heavy metals and free iron will interfere, especially with CoQ10 production. So a lot of people with fibromyalgia, they've got lead, mercury, all kinds of stuff in their body. Cadmium from gutta-percha from dental root canals. In fact, I had a root canal consult this morning about a gentleman. He wanted to know what to take. I said, make sure your dentist doesn't put gutta-percha in your jaw. So that's a big deal. So that's the CoQ10 stories and energetics. Let's go down through some of the amazing products and kind of talk about some of these so that people get an idea just how remarkable NutriMeds are. And, of course, we provide free consultations for our customers. I call members. One of the most common conditions we have is hypothyroidism. And there's several different phases of hypothyroidism. The first is straight hypothyroidism, where your gland swells up and then over 18 years shrinks down. You go through a mild phase of hyperthyroidism, then it drops. And when you look at the blood levels, doctors in the past would measure T4, which is the basic background thyroid hormone, but it's not really your thyroid hormone because it's converted to T3. T3 is thyroid hormone, but if it's converted to reverse T3, it actually blocks your thyroid. So you can have normal levels of T3, and if you have elevated RT3, reverse thyroid, your thyroid basically shuts off and your core body temperature is low. So you can see people with normal T4 and T3 levels, free levels, we're talking about free hormone, and they actually have low core body temperature, they gain weight easily, they've got insulin resistance, they're diabetic, they're hypertensive, they're salt retaining, they have all kinds of problems directly to elevated RT3. The solution to that is twofold. Mitothyroid, or it's threefold. Nutridyne, which is our Tesla-activated diatomic iodine, and berberstatin. So let's talk about berberstatin. It kills pathogens in your gut, but it also releases proteolin, the peptide in your gut called TRH, or the hormone that's in the brain. It's called thyroid-releasing hormone that releases thyroid-stimulating hormone that makes your thyroid active. But the gut hormone actually regulates your body mass. It's the main hormone also that's stimulated along with ergothioneine to stimulate tissue regeneration, so it's an anti-aging peptide that's universal. In fact, it's in every living species, not only vertebrates, but invertebrates, including all mammals, reptiles, etc. It's a very, very ancient peptide. So let's talk about berberstatin for a moment.
Yeah, berberstatin it gives the body everything it needs to do what you're saying. There's a high amount of berberine-containing herbs and micronutrients in the berberstatin. Unlike anything in the market, it's more of a well-rounded approach to getting your berberine in your products. So I also like that it has zinc in it. It's a zinc lysate, so it's a body-ready form of zinc. And then the berberine-containing herbs in there are Oregon grape, bayberry, and grapefruit. They're all different 4-to-1 extracts. So very potent.
Yeah, the health of your bowel and your health of your gastrointestinal tract leads to the health of your body. If your bowel and your insulin hormones and your glucagon and your proteolin levels are out of whack, you're out of whack, and you're going to have all kinds of health problems.
Communications Network, GCN.
By the way, if you have a wellness question during this, any hour of the show except the first hour on Friday, you can call during the appropriate time. Right now, it's a wellness issue. You tell the board operator it's John Monday to Thursday and Ben on Fridays what your question is, but it has to be appropriate to the time or topic we're talking about. So it will be on wellness this hour and the next hour. Third hour, we're going to have John Moore talking about preparedness, world events, etc. I want to talk about GI tract. We recently introduced a lactose blocker. And most people don't realize just how serious lactose is. Probably less than 2% of the population even has partial enzymes to break down milk lactose. It's everywhere. It's in cheese, it's in milk and milk products, it's mixed in packaged foods. It's everywhere. And when milk lactose, which is glucose and galactose, it presents itself and your body doesn't break it down to glucose and galactose, your gut bacteria create acid, they create a leaky gut, they create a dysbiosis, overgrowth of gut bacteria that don't belong there. And they cause problems. They cause bowel spasm, acidity, etc. So if you take lactose blocker, you can have your ice cream and eat it too and be fine, or your cheese, or your milk products, your yogurt, and you'll be absolutely fine. Whereas no other company has a neutral pH lactose enzyme lactase enzyme that'll work when it's not directly below the stomach. Because you see, the lactase enzymes don't, and this is every company, don't have any activity except in a very narrow pH range. This works at a neutral pH range, so it doesn't matter what it is. We also have, of course, new nutraceuticals to heal the gut. We have Gastro Heal, zinc carnosine. It's the most popular nutraceutical in Japan, actually, interestingly. This particular type of formula, we have our own manufacturer. And zinc carnosine helps to heal the gut wall, which I recommend chewing 1 to 2 tablets. Not the H2 blockers, not the proton pump inhibitors. These drugs actually will stymie your stomach and prevent your body from eliminating gut bacteria, which is bad. So that's why we have Digest Ease to restore your stomach acid. And Gastrozyme, it actually takes away pain. So we tell people, take Digest Ease and Gastrozyme. Take probiotic, living probiotic every day. I take one twice a day. And then if you have a serious gut dysbiosis, take the living probiotic ultra. It's so powerful, you only need one every 2 or 3 days. Then we have, of course, besides the Gastrozyme, we have Carbo Blocker to block carbohydrates if you're on a low-carbohydrate diet. We have also that enzyme, the IC2 enzyme, in our Glycemix. And, of course, all our foods are amazing. Right now, I'm putting myself on a specific diet where I'm going to have soup and salad in the evenings, just to kind of improve my situation. And I really think that when you take Glycemix as a meal replacement, along with Ageless, Energize, and Life Support, you're detoxifying, you're healing the gut wall with the immunoglobulins and the enzymes and the rice pea protein and the lactoferrin and colostrum. You're supplying all the micronutrients and the activated state of every vitamin, every mineral. There's no other company on the planet that has this with a fantastic taste, the mouthfeel, everything. So let's talk about these gut formulas. These are really good. And if you're constipated, we have Colon Cleanse. This will move the dead. If you have chronic constipation, which is really common, just take one at night. If you have it really bad, take one in the morning and at night. And because constipation is bad, if you have deconjugating bacteria in your lower gut, they actually are releasing toxins that your liver is already bound, and they're re-releasing them back into your circulation, so you don't want them to hang around. If your stool's hanging around for days and weeks, you're getting into trouble because you're going to start reabsorbing those toxins that are present in the stool because the gut bacteria will gradually release them. So, Clay, tell us all about these different gut formulas we talked about, from Living Probiotic Ultra, Gastrozyme, Digest Ease, Gastro Heal, all of these amazing formulas, and of course the new lactose blocker. These are all great, aren't they?
They sure are. The Living Probiotic Ultra, I mean, this is my favorite. And like you're saying, you don't even have to take it every day. It's 100 billion per capsule. So it goes in and really does the job. A lot of those other store-bought preparations are only in, say, 1 and 2 billion ranges. So to give 100 billion is a great way to go about restoring your gut bacteria and getting your health balanced.
Right.
Or you got to do it. I mean, a lot of times people are taking antibiotics. They don't even know they're getting antibiotics from the foods they're eating, and it's killing the good and bad bacteria that are in that gut. So
that's really good.
It's a Living Probiotic Ultra. Next is that Gastro Heal, and like you're saying, it is one of the number one selling items there in Japan, the zinc carnosine. What's nice about the Gastro Heal that you have, it's a chewable form of the zinc carnosine. And so what it does is it coats the entire lumen from the oral cavity all the way to the end. And so it helps. It's like a salve on some of the ulcerated parts of your lumen. And so it helps repair it and really help you feel good. There's a lot of great studies on it surrounding dyspepsia and heartburn and reflux and things of that nature. H. pylori studied in, quite effective. So, given the Living Probiotic Ultra along with the Gastro Heal is a really nice 1-2 punch for your gut, especially if you're like, you know what, I just don't know what's going on down there.
Exactly. Now, a lot of people have a thing called diverticular disease. It's said that 50% of men and women over 50 have diverticulosis, which means they have weak points in their bowel wall and stones or fecalness, where they have anaerobic bacteria growing and other junk, yeast, etc., especially if they're diabetic or pre-diabetic. If you want to control that, what I recommend is to take regularly every day Alamax or Allicin Med, Nutridyne, and Silver 100. And, of course, the probiotics are extremely important. They're the bouncer. They come in there like Living Probiotic every day, and it's the L6 strain from Paris. We have the very top standardized probiotic. And then if you have a really serious infection, or if you're going to a high prevalence area like Haiti, you can actually take Living Probiotic Ultra, and you can even go to a place where cholera is present and it won't happen. That's how amazing it is. This is a very big deal. People don't realize that if you get diverticulosis, as we call it, left-sided appendicitis, it can grumble on and off for years, and the chronic inflammation can be a predisposition to colon cancer or sigmoid cancer. So we want to keep that cleaned. We find the enzymes help, the gastrozyme helps, and the Inflamex. Inflamex actually helps to break down the fecalness and pass them. And the colon cleanse, cleansing your lower bowel. It's a really big deal. That's why people go for colonics. They're trying to clean out all this fecalness and the garbage in the lower colon. The other thing, of course, is you want to prevent detoxification problems. So let's get into detox. Xenoestrogen detox and NutriDefense. What's in xenoestrogen that makes it so powerful for all the toxic chemicals out there? And the NutriDefense has the anhydrous catechin polyphenol for pulling out all the toxic chemicals. And we have Green Tea Select. Those three are the biggies for chemicals, and for heavy metals, we have Collagen Max and Ultra Liquid Zeolite. So let's talk about xenoestrogen detox and perhaps the Green Tea Select and the amazing Collagen Max.
Yeah, well, the xenoestrogen detox, that's one of my favorites as well, because it really has everything that you need to help fight against xenoestrogens or outside estrogens that you're getting bombarded with. And
all the chemicals out there in the world. Pesticides, glyphosates, bisphenol A, all this nasties. And the Green Tea Select, the catechins grab it. They literally, like our claw, grab it, along with a Power C+. Those are very, very useful. Back in a moment with more with Clay Crossan, and your calls are welcome. 800-259-5791 on the health issue. 800-259-5791.
A sudden change in the wind.
Welcome back, and so we were talking a little bit before the break. If you want to pick up on those two topics, then we're going to move on, Clay. So just before the break, we had a couple of things we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wanted to touch on the colon cleanse. It's such a great product. You can take it even daily. I mean, how many of your listeners have trouble with staying regular? I mean, it's such a common issue for people, especially women that are on birth control pills. I mean, that constipates like nothing else.
Right.
It's just something that they take 1 to 2 before they go to bed, and in the morning they'll be able to have a movement, and it just really makes people feel better when they can be regular. I really.
Right. By the way, irregularity causes those diverticular outpoachings, because increased intraluminal pressure pushes those through the blood vessel punctures the wall of the sigmoid colon, and that's how you end up with diverticuli, which are a place for a fecalith or undigestible fiber to build a stone-like device that actually builds up, the size of, say, a marble or bigger, and end up with a nidus of anaerobic infection. It can actually puncture the blood vessel wall and the bowel wall, and can cause a peritonitis or an acute gastrointestinal bleed. So you don't need that. So just clean out the garbage out of there. Next thing, I think, let's talk about the idea of brains, and we talk about brain adjustment. Calm Mind, Brain Power, which is vinpocetine, that's very protective of the brain. We call it Brain Power. We use it in dementia, we use it in Down syndrome, we use it in anybody under stress, or if they're going through a lot of therapies. We use also Neurogen, which stimulates new nerve cell regeneration, Nutrifos for remyelination, and Omega Supreme Krill for all the cofactors, along with Omega Supreme. These are extremely important for rebuilding brain tissue. Nutrifos, and of course the Cognition Plus. So let's talk about Cognition Plus. I had a request the other day. They were thinking, is it similar to our old Cognition Ignition? Yes. 3 times more powerful, plus additional nutrient content in it. 3 times more powerful, and it's some additional nutrient content that make it a far more powerful formula. So I recommend you take Cognition Plus morning and midday, along with the Brain Power. I recommend people take Nutrifos and Neurogen, which is protective of the brain. I think CoQ10 is protective of the brain as well, by the way, because CoQ10 levels drop, and they've proven are important. That's why statin drugs are very bad, and lowering people's cholesterol is bad. They found that if you lower someone's cholesterol, if it's high, it's where it needs to be so your brain functions. What you want to do is get rid of VLDL cholesterol, which you can do with Neovasc, niacinamide, and when you take the proper omega fatty acids like Omega Supreme Krill, which is astaxanthin, Omega Supreme, I recommend at least 2 soft gels in the morning, and Omega Cod Liver Liquid, which is at least 10 mils in the morning with a smoothie like the Glycemix Ageless Energize, which has chlorogenic acid to burn off calories, and Life Support, which helps you detox as well. It's the most complete of all the drinks separately by itself, but I combine all 3. So let's talk about that for a minute. Cognition Plus and Brain Power and Neurogen, which is going to stimulate new nerve regeneration. Neurogen.
Yeah, I just really like that product because, like we were talking about before, it's got the methylated B vitamins. It's a B6, folic acid, and B12, and they are the methylated or body-ready forms. They're activated forms, so that you don't have to take as much to actually feel the difference. And so you can really feel the quality in having these methylated B vitamins. You also have NAC, which helps create glutathione, which is the master antioxidant of the body. You have acetyl-L-carnitine, phosphatidylserine. Phosphatidylserine helps bring down cortisol. You have ginkgo biloba extract, a copa extract, which helps with memory and focus. Vinpocetine, like you were talking about earlier, is in this Cognition Plus too, and then transresveratrol and huperzine A. So something you can use for focus, mental clarity. You can give to kids, you can give to the elderly. Just all dose dependent on weight, what you're trying to treat. Very, very effective product.
Yeah, it makes an amazing difference, doesn't it? Amazing difference. Now, when we're looking at restoring people's hormonal function, usually it's polyhormonal. They have growth hormone problems. They have male hormone, female hormone problems. I recommend testing. The first test, which is really quick and you can do it almost every day, is the QRMA test. Then I recommend functional testing, which is blood tests you can do through labtestingdirect.com. If you contact them, you can order the test. I can tell you which ones to order. They can measure, for example, for menopausal women, postmenopausal women, they measure all the female hormones and the male hormones because your body can bioconvert. One of the problems that happens with women is they are actually converting to male hormone, and you can block that and block the hot flashes with hormone synergy, which is also called flash away. We call it either name. So one of the more common things, and we find most of that is progesterone deficiency. We find most women, if you actually test their levels in their saliva, their estrogen levels for some years are normal, but their progesterone levels are low. And so we use femgesterone cream. Usually 2 or 3 pumps on the upper abdomen will do the trick, but you can actually measure saliva levels. And it's very, very accurate. You measure progesterone, estrogen, estradiol, all the male hormones, androstenedione, testosterone, etc. and they measure cortisol levels, and they'll try to tell you if you're at Genova Labs if you're in a normal range or not. I recommend bioidentical hormones, but I usually recommend you be very cautious. For example, with male hormone, if you take excess like the andro gel or the injections, you're going to bioconvert it to female hormone unless you take our hormone synergy. And we have the most powerful hormone enzyme blocker that will block your bioconversion to the wrong hormone, called 8-pyrrolynolenogen in the hormone synergy. So let's talk about hormone synergy, or flash away. Stops hot flashes in men and women. Autonomic and emotional instability occur too. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, the flash away, yeah, absolutely. It's been studied in hot flashes and menopause, and reduced the incidence by up to 50%. And so I know that any women going through this and dealing with hot flashes, a 50% reduction will be well welcomed. I know that they'd be excited to take something like this. It's very safe too and not expensive.
Yeah, it's very, very helpful. The next area that's really common for people who complain about pain, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, which we talked about, CoQ10. The best anti-inflammatories for tissues is Inflamex, which stops interfascial adhesions, perineural adhesions, and so on. The best one for solid organs like nerve, brain, liver, kidneys is Cell Defense. And, of course, if you want to repair the tissues, we recommend Tendon Mender, which literally modifies epigenetically the tenocytes, which are modified fibroblasts to make new tendons, ligaments, connective tissue, etc., and the type 1 collagen in bone. Tendon Mender, absolutely unique, amazing, works within days. And Joint Performance, the best way to rebuild your joints. So Tendon Mender, Joint Performance, then to reduce the cytokines, which are elevated inflammatory markers, which are tied to blood insulin and leptin resistance. You take leptin metabolic, and we have the unique and only supplier on earth for leptin metabolic, this little magical red pill, leptin metabolic. I will sometimes add Mountain Red Velvet and tell people one of the 3 capsules, you open the capsule, put it under your tongue. But most of the people just require the triad of Tendon Mender, Joint Performance, and leptin metabolic, and within a matter of a few weeks, their osteoarthritis, a lot of their tendinitis, tenosynovitis, plantar fasciitis is going away. It's just amazing. And then they use the anti-inflammatories, 3 to 5 capsules twice a day of Inflamex. So tell us about this group, Inflamex, Tendon Mender, Joint Performance, and leptin metabolic. This is a very amazing, not trio, but trio plus one, and why it's so useful.
I wanted to touch on, you brushed over fibromyalgia pretty quick, and I know a lot of listeners are suffering from that, and that the magnesium glycinate is...
Yes, very important. Magnesium and the CoQ10. Those are the 2 biggies for fibromyalgia. We also have D-ribose and acetyl-L-carnitine, but those are add-ons. But the first step is the CoQ10 ubiquinol and the CoQ10 Supreme. You need both, because you're going to build up a background level of the ubiquinol in the tissues, and you need to have the ubiquinone. And the magnesium glycinate malate, I want you to talk about that more when we come back with our amazing Tendon Mender, Joint Performance, leptin metabolic. This helps reverse diabetic insulin resistance, osteoarthritis, portion control.
EN.
Back to the Nutrimedical Report, and the only place to get your nutraceuticals. Well, I want to thank all those people out there that regularly support NutriMeds and order all their nutraceutical needs here at Nutrimedical.com. We need your support to be able to spread the word around the world, not only on our wellness situations and the latest protocols of wellness, but new technologies like the QRMA and Bioplasm NLS, new technologies. In fact, I'm researching a new magnetic field therapy device that we may be launching here shortly. We have, of course, the Soma Pulse, which we're going to get back to Dr. William Pollack. We have the Metathera from Germany, the PMT 100, and there's a new home machine. We have the amazing detox of the ProLight infrared sauna, and a new version of the sauna with we call it a trampoline in there, so you can not only pump your lymphatics, but you can also detox the toxic chemicals. And our world is so toxic, it's insane. We wonder why we have autoimmune diseases and infertility and other problems. We shouldn't be surprised at all. So we're talking about Tendon Mender, Joint Performance, and leptin metabolic. Let's get into these for a second.
Yeah, well, the Tendon Mender I love because there's really nothing else on the market that can effectively recreate type 1 collagen in the body.
This is the only one in the world. So the people out there that are trying to second guess, I think I can find what Dr. Deagle has online. No, you can't. You can't find anything equivalent, so don't waste your time. You're not cured by the label. Cutting the label off and stick it on the sore body part doesn't make any difference. And by the way, I do bring the best of medicine. There are some medical treatments and even drugs, but I'm very selective. Some drugs are really damn dangerous. Nice statin drugs? Absolutely not. Drugs like Bistolic, which is a cardiac drug? Absolutely not. Antidepressants, Prozac, Jack, I call it, all these types of drugs, these are dissociative anesthetics, so you'll know if you listen to the program what's good and what's not good. And the same with surgeries. There's a lot of surgery issues that you have to deal with, whether you're using mesh or not mesh and different hernia repairs. It's important to understand that even when you're being exposed to medical therapy, you're exposed to plasticizers, including bisphenol A, etc., so you got to get those out of the body by chelating them out with Green Tea Select, NutriDefense, and xenoestrogen detox, and of course infrared sauna, because they're going to build up in your body and cause health problems, especially if you're seeing a lot of doctors and doing a lot of treatment. So out there we have a wide range of people, from very healthy that just want to stay real healthy and just want to detox and make sure they don't hit that wall someday where all of a sudden they have a health problem. But Tendon Mender will rebuild the type 1 collagen in your body, in your bone, your ligaments, your muscles, and the joint performance is the most powerful thing to rebuild your cartilage. And then we have to get rid of the inflammatory molecules. We got leptin metabolic. So let's go through some of the details. What's in them? What makes them so amazing?
The joint performance I really like because the pure hyaluronic acid that's in there. Hyaluronic acid, by taking the pure form of it, it helps basically give an oil change for your synovial fluid. So just like with a car engine, you need to change your oil. Same thing with
I know other people say they have a hyaluronic acid product, they bought this, about that. It's not the same. There are various companies, and I'm not going to mention their names, which we've had in the past. This is not the same as anybody else's hyaluronic acid. We have people within 3 to 5 days are saying, my gosh, my joints are better on this combination. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, then you also have in there the components of hops, bioflavonoids, to help bring down the inflammation or fire that's going on in the joint. So you wouldn't rebuild a house while it's still on fire. You'd want to put the fire out first before you rebuild the house.
Exactly. That's where the leptin metabolic comes in. And, of course, Inflamex, which is the Wolbenzyme N formula, 10 times stronger, plus serrapeptase, seroflozyme, silkworm enzyme. So it breaks up interfascial adhesions, lymphatic blockages. So this is the lymphatic, if you want to call it, plumber, if you want to call it, to get your lymphatics open in your blood vessels. It helps to break down unstable plaque in your artery walls, along with their enzymes, lumbrokinase and nattokinase, which we carry. Nattokinase is very important. I think every adult should be on nattokinase, and the marker to watch is Pi1. It's even more sensitive than C-reactive protein for vascular events. Very, very important that people take that. So we've had really good results using that combination. When people have pain, too, we recommend topical curcumin cream. Curcumin, it's amazing how it penetrates into joints, ligaments, and tissues. Curcumin. And then lumen photon therapy, and put setting 7 only for pain. Only go to Nico or other settings when you're trying to stimulate healing. And if it's an acute inflammation, you do not do any other setting than 7 if you're trying to actually reverse that. The other thing that we have is goat. Goat responds very nicely to BioLVR and Semethyl. BioLVR and Semethyl and high-dose Power C. So the first two is BioLVR and Power C. Power C is the most powerful vitamin C product in the world. It's the only neutral pH vitamin C on the planet. So let's talk about what's in BioLVR. We have people with migraines that goes away, people with periodontal disease. They take a CoQ10 along with the BioLVR. They bite into CoQ10, pop a BioLVR, or take the Power Methyl B12 under the tongue, and it stops the migraines immediately. But we see with BioLVR, it's very good, along with Semethyl, for getting rid of gout. Can we talk about that for a minute? And, of course, also good for gout is Vein Away. Vein Away is very good for gout, very good for diuresing fluid, very good for protecting the kidney from glycation from diabetes and prediabetes. Vein Away is an amazing product at Diosmin.
Yeah, and also, not to mention, superfolate would be a great adjunct for your.
Yeah, superfolate for the gout. Yeah, superfolate, because it's a methylation pathway problem that causes gout, and also elevated homocysteine. So the two are kind of linked together: gout and homocysteine levels. So when we see someone with elevated gout, uric acid they very often will have, especially if they get an L-methionine challenged 500 milligrams the night before, they're going to have elevated homocysteine, which burns their artery walls, can directly toxically affect brains, astrocytes or brain cells. It's really bad. So homocysteine's bad, uric acid's bad, and these nutraceuticals will help. Let's go through some of the details.
Yeah, the BioLVR is the homocysteine protocol product. I mean, really all you have in there supports methylation pathways. You have all the activated methylated B vitamins in there, the riboflavin, vitamin 6, folic acid as a methylated form, B12 methylated, and trimethylglycine, which helps then recyclate all the other B vitamins. So everything that your body needs to bring down homocysteine, activate your methylation pathways.
Yeah, that's really important. Dr. Kilmer McCullough discovered it at Harvard years ago, and at first his colleagues thought he was crazy, so they kind of demoted him. Eventually he got awards for it when he was older. Another area that's really important is bones. And both men, women, and athletes think that they can't get bone problems, but they're wrong. If you're an athlete, you actually can be at risk of shin splints, which is hairline cracks in your bones, or compartment syndrome, especially women. We see also athletes where they lose a lot of magnesium. They also end up, your bones, so people don't realize, is actually 2 parts calcium, 1 part magnesium, your bones. And most people are magnesium depleted, so that means their bone crystal structure is not normal. And they need trace elements of silica or boron and manganese. We have that in Bone Generator. I recommend MyCell D3, at least 2 soft gels twice a day. You can do a blood level through the labs like LabCorp and Quest that'll measure your D3 levels. Vitamin K2 is menaquinone 7, very important for bone osteoblast, laying down new bone. And I recommend for bones the tendon mender, because type 1 collagen is the actual rebar in your bones. Most people don't realize it's like building a pre-stressed overpass. If you don't have rebar in an overpass, you sure wouldn't want to just pour concrete; it would break. And once it cracks, the whole thing will fall into the water. Let's say a river. So let's talk about these: Bone Generator, MyCell D3, full vitamin K2, tendon mender. Really important for rebuilding bone. And Collagen Max, of course, which triples the rate of the generation of new collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid in your body. The Collagen Max is one of our number 1 nutraceuticals. Stops wrinkles, stops weakness of your bones and ligaments, helps repair joint capsules. It's amazing. Collagen Max.
Yeah, the Collagen Max, I love the product. Not to mention it's great for your hair.
Yeah, you look great. Your hair looks great. Your bones look good too. You see, you can't see the inside, but if you're not wrinkled on the outside, you're also not wrinkled on the inside.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree with that. And so, yeah, I really like to add the Collagen Max to that, as well as the tendon mender, because tendon mender is type 1 collagen, the Collagen Max is type 2 collagen.
It was great having you here, Clay. Back next Monday. We're going to join Ryan and continue this dialogue. If you have questions on health and wellness issues, especially our NutriMeds, call in 800-259-5791. If you have a question you want responded to on Friday, even if you're not a customer and you're just a listener, you can ask Michelle. She'll pose that question perhaps on Friday on the firing line, where I'm on the firing line and she's the host. Thank you, Clay. We'll be back in a moment with Ryan. Again, the call-in number is 800-259-5791. 800-259-5791. Coming up in hour number 3, John Moore. Specials this week. I'm working on some amazing specials. We're going to have Michael Connolly from the U.S. Justice Foundation on Wednesday. Major updates in other areas in GMO foods, etc. Take care, take action. Thank you for your support.